Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you still don't know, Martin over here. I make videos about my life in Germany, photography, and when I have the chance about automotive topics. So today is the second video related to the Sony A6500. If you still haven't watched my unboxing video, go check it out. Links somewhere over here. And yeah, we'll be taking this bad boy out today with the 30mm f1.4, since I'm going to make a portrait photo shoot with my friend Sveti, which I'm currently waiting for her to come, and we will also have the opportunity to check how it performs under poor lighting conditions. In general, right now the light isn't that good, and it will be dark in the next hour and a half or something like that. So we'll see how this camera performs in real life situations, and personally I really want to see what's all the hype with this lens and camera combination. So yeah, let's get to it. Okay guys, just finished editing some of the photos. I'm going to show you unedited photos as well as edited photos with some specifics about them. One of the key points here would be the ISO performance of the Sony camera, this beast over here. And we're gonna discuss more about the camera after we view the photos, whether it's worth spending so much money, and if the camera is good for you or not, and for which people it makes sense to buy this camera. Personally, I was positively surprised by the camera. It behaved really good, almost on a pro DSLR level. So let's get into Lightroom. Okay, so we're in Lightroom, and first we'll go through some of the unedited photos, and actually I'm not sure. Oh no, sorry, these are edited photos. So here are the raw files. This is a sequence of photos I shot while my model Teddy was laughing, so I can test the hybrid eye tracking, swapping to face tracking, autofocus. So sorry, it loads a bit slow. I think here we missed a little bit of the focus. Yes, here. So that's first shot out of 6. And this one was missed, of course, but she was almost out of frame. And yeah, an edited final version. So we have 2 shots missed out of 10 shots, which I would say that's pretty good. In general, one of the things that I've noticed here is that the dynamic range isn't what I'm used to with my Nikon. Usually with my Nikon, I do
underexpose, and I can get a lot of details from the shadows back, but here you can see it's not that good. You you automatically get a lot of noise when you do that. So make sure if you're shooting with a Sony to get your exposure right. Don't be fooled by other brands and underexpose, because you won't get that much detail back as you'd hoped. And we can go now to the edited photos. So this is at ISO 400. All of my portraits were shot with the Sigma lens. In general, this is just amazing how in general this is just amazing because I use the autofocus system and the eye tracking. You can see how sharp the focus is. Yes, there is a little bit of noise. I noticed this even at ISO 400, but basically what I've seen throughout the photos, it stays constant no matter what ISO I use. The cool thing I really like here is how actually sharp the focus is on her eyes and the background is blurred. So you can see the settings that I shot in over here. These were during the time that we still had some light, because right now here in Germany it gets dark pretty early. In general, when it comes to portrait shots, I'm super happy with the Sony. It did amazing, especially when shooting at f1.4. This one was a bit interesting. This was during the sunset, and I have no idea. Maybe it's because of the white balance. We were inside a park house, and it had white lamps inside. So maybe I think the white balance was set to auto at that point, and due to that, the sunset turned purplish to pink, which was kind of interesting. One shot that's of interest here is this one. You can see it's at ISO 1600. This was at the time where it was completely dark. The only light we had was a street light, and the lights here in the back are from a coming vehicle. But in general, if we zoom in, you can see the noise is pretty heavy. But compared to my Nikon and how it performs at this ISO, I'm really happy at the result. To be honest, I never was able to shoot with my Nikon at such lighting conditions. They were really, really poor, and pretty happy. I think we have here, this is the edited photo, and this was how it looked before the edit. You can see it picked up a lot of warm tones on the skin, which in my opinion wasn't that good, but considering the environment that we were shooting in, I think the end result is pretty good. I managed to pull out just enough detail and not completely ruin the photo with too much noise. So here is an unedited photo in pretty much the same conditions. We were in a park during. It was pretty much dark, although it looks like we were shooting during the blue hour. If you zoom in, you can see the amount of noise, especially color noise. It's a lot, but considering that it's at 1600, as I said, I'm pretty happy. This is also a shot I took inside the parking area at 1250 ISO, and this is after a bit of noise reduction. You can see it still has a lot, but for me personally, this shot is really still usable. We continue with some shots I took on the next day. I went just to shoot around with my friend Rainer, and this is straight out of the camera. As I already mentioned, I tend to underexpose a lot of photos. So I'm going to try to see what I can get out of this one. So this one was shot at ISO 100. Basically, I think we can get a decent amount of detail back before we start losing. And to be honest, I usually don't edit my photos here in Lightroom, but for the purpose of this video, I think it's best to do it over here. A little bit of clarity, maybe some vibrance. I think we okay. Really don't like this. Can we move this point? No. Never liked Lightroom for editing photos. I'm definitely more of a Photoshop guy. Okay, we do tend to have a lot of noise if we zoom in, but it's a decent amount. We can even remove some of it. So you can see the before and after. I think you can get a decent amount of info back during the day, especially if you shoot at ISO 100. But if you are on high ISO, pretty sure if you didn't expose correctly the photo, it's pretty much done. So we'll do the same exercise with this one as well. This one was shot again at ISO 100. So let's see what we can get back. Okay. A bit of clarity here. Let's see the noise. Okay, the noise is definitely much more in this one because it was a lot more underexposed. Let's do like this. So basically you can see on the left side it's really dark, and we got back a lot of detail. We managed to reduce the noise. If I open this in Photoshop, definitely I will get a lot more back and without that much noise. This one was again shot at ISO, oh no, this is at ISO 640, and it still has this is really weird for me that basically you have the same amount of noise everywhere between ISO 100 and 1000. In terms of this, that I would expect that ISO 100 to have almost no noise at all. Here are some shots I managed to capture during the sunset. Let's change the view here a little bit. Yeah, like this. I could bring a lot of detail back, but you can see the noise is just crazy, and this is at ISO 640. To be honest, this one was definitely a lot underexposed because I really wanted to capture the colors on top. These are already edited in Photoshop. If we zoom in here, you can see that I did manage to remove most of the noise in the sunset. You can see the differences here. And here it is. So this is an example for an unedited photo, and this is an example what you can get out of the photo. So yeah, you can so yeah, pretty much the noise hasn't gone too much up here. I did reduce it after the initial editing, but in the end I think it's pretty amazing that I can get this photo out of this, keeping in mind that the shadow detail is not that restorable like Nikon's. Okay, so we went through some of the photos I took. To be honest, I'm really happy with them, and in general, there are some things that I don't like in the camera. One of the things is this not flippy, sorry, this tilty screen over here. I'm pretty used to have a flip screen, which is really useful, and I found myself in a couple of situations where I needed a flip screen, and I had to do some yoga poses in order to see what the hell is going on. Also, when you have a tripod mount here, like this one from the Gorilla Pod, which usually should stay like this, if you can see it good. Basically, it's hard to maneuver the screen without hitting it, and that's not good. Another thing I don't like, this is going to maybe affect handheld footage, are the strap, whatever they're called here, these metal things, they cling a lot, and most likely this will be hearable when you have a mic on top of the camera. I didn't have much time to test the video, but in the next couple of weeks, uh, I'm going to help out my friend Dido, who lent me this camera with his channel, and I'll be shooting with this camera, so I'll have more in depth on the video. And if I manage to capture enough material, I will make a review regarding the video quality of the camera as well. But from what I've seen, it handles pretty well slow motion. It does 120 frames per second slow-mo in 1080p, which is amazing, as well as the stabilization, the 5-axis stabilization, and the optic steady shot from the Zeiss lens. It's perfect, it's super good. So, who should buy this camera? In my opinion, uh, let's say it like this. If you're going out for a new camera and you have the budget to buy this camera, this is really good for beginners because it has a lot of features that will guide you and help you in the learning process, and it will make things a lot easier. We'll also recommend it for portrait photography. It's really amazing. That includes outside studio portrait photography, whatever you want. You have a really decent amount of choices regarding lenses. You can pair it with a lot of cool lenses that produce amazing images, like the Sigma lens we used. Also, another possible type of person that would benefit from this camera is a hybrid shooter. That means video and photography, and because of the 4K, because of the stabilization and the performance in photography, this is amazing. If you're thinking of, for example, switching from a DSLR to this one, because of the main reason, like all people, is to downsize and lose some weight, unless you have a full frame body that weighs a lot, I would not recommend. For example, my crop body from Nikon weighs 2 times less than this camera. Yes, it's 2 times smaller, but it weighs 2 times more because of the metal body, the metal lens, and it's just really heavy compared to my Nikon. So in that case, I would not recommend this if that's your goal with switching to mirrorless. If I have to answer honestly, would I switch from my Nikon, even though it's an entry level DSLR, and go to the Sony, which I would rate somewhere around medium to pro level. It's not fully pro because Sony has pro range bodies for their mirrorless, but it still behaves quite good, so it's almost at pro level. I would still think about doing it because the price difference is quite big, and if you know what you're doing, you can get pretty much the same shots out of a cheaper body with, let's say, similar priced lens. Couldn't get the same quality in low light conditions. Personally, I don't shoot in such a lot. So if you want to need to shoot in poor lighting conditions, this is a good alternative compared to the high-end top models from the DSLRs, which cost, we all know, 3, 4, 5,000 euros, just the body. You can get pretty decent quality from this with a 24 megapixel sensor. So in the end, I can only say this is an amazing portrait camera, and if you have the budget and can afford it, go for it. You won't make a mistake in buying this camera. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I really hope that this review was helpful for you. If you think I missed something about the camera, make sure to leave a comment down below, as well as make sure to subscribe, watch one of my other videos, and yeah, we'll see each other on my next videos. So again, thanks for watching and see you soon, guys. Bye.